Fellow Americans beat and bloodied our own police. They stormed the Senate floor. They tried to hunt down the Speaker of the House. They built a gallows and chanted about murdering the Vice President. They did this because they'd been fed wild falsehoods by the most powerful man on earth. Because he was angry he lost an election. There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. No question about it.
No question about it. That is Mitch McConnell criticizing Donald Trump in the wake of the insurrection, saying that he was practically and morally responsible for it. It was a strong stance. Mitch McConnell wasn't taking it anymore for a little while. And then a few weeks went by and he made clear that he would support Donald Trump once again were he to run for president, despite all of that insurrection and coup stuff. And recently, Axios reporter Jonathan Swan sat down with Mitch McConnell and asked him about that flip-flop.
How do you go from saying that to 2 weeks later saying you'd absolutely support Donald Trump if he's the Republican nominee in 2024?
Well, as the Republican leader of the Senate, it should not be a front page headline that I will support the Republican nominee for president.
After you've said that about him, I think it's astonishing.
I think I have an obligation to support the nominee of my party.
What you say matters. You're a very important voice in this country. You're the leader of your party, and you seem to hold two concurrent, conflicted positions, which is
not at all inconsistent. Not at all inconsistent. I stand by everything I said
I understand, but
January 6th and everything I said on February the 13th.
I fully understand that, but take Liz Cheney, for example.
Do you want to spend some more time on this as well?
I actually do, because I actually, no, I genuinely want to understand this. I really want to understand how you think about this, because Liz Cheney, who has the same view of you as of January 6th, she said she doesn't want Donald Trump anywhere near the White House, and she's going to work to not make that happen, because she thinks that there are some things more important than party loyalty.
Well, maybe you ought to be talking to Liz Cheney.
No, but I'm not trying to. I really, it's not a gotcha. I'm just actually trying to understand, like, is there any threshold for you of what someone can do on a moral level?
I say many things I'm sure people don't understand.
Ugh, that's an understatement. But anyway, look, Axios bothers me in a lot of different ways, but Jonathan Swan is very good at staying on a topic in some of these interviews. And although if you've been watching us for a while, if you've been following politics for a while, you're probably not shocked by what Mitch McConnell said there, what his position is. He is just a hollow shell filled with a desire for ever increasing amounts of power. I think it's important for producing sound bites like that make clear to regular people that there are really no lines. There might be temporary times where he'll come out and say, well, I would have preferred if Trump hadn't cooed, but then they go right back to playing the game. Jackson, what do you think about what you saw?
Yeah, so the first thing that's most important is, first of all, Mitch McConnell's entire point, his entire job is to advance the Republican Party forward, period, the end. He even said it right there. But the most important thing about the Republican Party is that this really is all they can do. After advancing the culture meters so far to the right in this country, especially within their party, they can't just make an about face and change what they're doing. And if they did, if they tried to, the base would lose its mind. I mean, even Trump, when he tries to say like, hey, maybe you should get a vaccine, they boo him. Like, they really actually don't have any control of their base. And this is why they keep doing what they're doing. So this is the bed that they made for themselves. But this also makes the Republican Party extremely dangerous, as we always talk about, because they don't have a democratic future. They just don't. And they're going to continue to, shave away democracy as much as they can, because look at how crazy they are.
Right, that's exactly right. They're going to be cannibalized by their base if they turn on some of these fringe figures, even outside of the Senate, or Trump, if they eventually try to turn on Marjorie Taylor Greene, or eventually, God forbid, if Wendy Rogers ever made it to Congress.
Oh God.
Trying to distance themselves from her, because these people have figured out that there is a critical mass of lunatics in this country who will support them, donate to their campaign, and they got their backs just because they're all collectively brain poisoned from Facebook, from watching Newsmax and OAN and Fox for years. That they believe everything they read. They live in an alternate reality, and there's no, their only political goal is to have power and to humiliate their opponents. It's just really insidious hyperpartisanship. And McConnell, not that anyone ever accused him of having a spine or having integrity, he doesn't care. This just shows he's only motivated by power and control.
Yeah.
No matter who the vehicle is that gets them there, he does not matter. And we'll get into more of that, but it's just they don't care. I wish Democrats could sometimes be as ruthless, because we just see this feckless leadership on the Democratic side. And it's like, oh, they can't do anything. It's very frustrating.
I mean, they can occasionally be ruthless against progressives. They show that ability. So let me sort of dive into a combination of the two things that you're talking about, because Jackson, you were talking about they're basically done. They're done with democracy and all that. And Jordan, you were talking about how he only wants power. So he seems perfectly willing to let a Donald Trump come back in as long as he can continue to pass legislation that he wants. But I would assume that his preference, if he had two buttons and one was right-wing populist for whatever that's supposed to be worth, and the other is like machine-produced right-wing establishment tool, I think he'd choose the tool. And so he will support Trump. If Trump is the nominee, he's gonna support him. But is it possible that behind the scenes, to whatever extent he has any ability to influence any of this, he might try to push the party back in the direction of the previous awful incarnation that was full of people like Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney and those sorts of figures?
I don't think they can. I mean, Donald Trump isn't only the most popular political figure in the Republican Party. He's the most popular political figure in the entire United States. Like, and when you really tally his numbers and you really look at how much influence he really has. And the next closest person behind him in polling is Ron DeSantis, and he's dozens of points below. And Trump will not stand for anybody standing him up in any type of way. And so, again, it's like, okay, well, they need someone else with the same type of cultural fire to replace Trump. And until they find that person, Trump can't be replaced. At least that's as far as I see it.
Right. I think Trump he knows how to work the media. He knows how to do and say things that are going to demand attention. And honestly, the corporate media wants him back so bad. Has anyone looked at Chris Cillizza's analysis pieces lately? Every third one is about Trump coming back or what Trump just said, or here's an 800-word column on Trump's statement about getting a hole in one. They want him back so bad because right now for them, politics are boring and they're in a ratings game and they're in a click game. That's how they make their money. It's detrimental to all of us and the rest of the world, but they don't care because they're driven by profit. So if he does throw his hat in the ring, they're gonna eat it up. Because it's, hey, we get a new bizarre story every single day that's going to drive eyeballs. Absolutely, and they don't care.
Yeah, and there's a cost to it, certainly. By the way, it really works out so well for them that I agree with you. Very many of them, I don't know if they, in their heart of hearts, think that they do, but they clearly aren't that bothered by the idea of him coming back. And along the way, which sort of politicians on the other side do they support? People like Joe Biden, those who are not willing to do what is necessary policy-wise to stop Trump from coming back. So it really works out. They support the sorts of Democrats that will give them the sorts of Republicans that they secretly want.
That's what's so frustrating about it, because if the Democrats were just a little bit decent, there's no way they would lose to these people because they're nuts. The Republican Party, they don't make sense. They're completely insane. If the Democrat, just eliminate half a student loan debt or do like you said you would and go 10,000 or do something. That's all you need to do. That's all Joe Biden needs to do, but he won't.
Yeah, just be super callous. do 10,000 then say, and after I get reelected, another 10. Dude, that's the most callous thing, and I would hate it. That would be so manipulative. I don't know. That might work actually, but no, we'll see. He delayed it. Is everyone wowed? He delayed the repayment. Oh God, it would be so easy to beat the Republicans if that was the thing that they cared about most. Unfortunately, it's not.